The Eurostar, the famous train that runs through the tunnel from Paris to London and London to Paris. How do you take it? Well, let's start off by saying that it's not quite as straightforward as most trains. First things first, get there early. We're talking like almost a domestic flight early. You see, the reason is where most trains you just show up and walk straight on. For this one, you actually do immigration for the country you're going to and the country that you're coming from. That means if you're going to London, you're gonna do immigration in Paris. And if you're going to Paris, you're gonna do immigration in London. The annoying thing is you have to get there a little bit early. The good thing is when you arrive, you pretty much just walk straight off into whatever country you were going to. So what exactly do I mean by early? The Eurostar says that they stop letting people in through immigration 45 minutes before departure. Honestly, I've seen people make it through in just a short amount of time, but this immigration isn't what I call a fast one. There's some that you go through and they literally just scan your face and you're done. This one, they scan your face, but it ain't fast. So on this particular day, I was traveling from Paris to London on an economy ticket that cost entirely too much. With this particular train, I definitely recommend booking early if you can. You'll get way better prices. Once you make it through immigration, there's a decent little seating area. There's plenty of chairs, and of course there's an opportunity for you to spend your money. Whether you want to buy booze, get yourself a snack, buy something else, don't worry. If you need it for the train, you can buy it there. Although I will say, you probably should have bought it at one of the convenience stores just outside for like 30% less. One quick thing to note, if you're going in summer, that train station does get pretty hot. And while they do have a little bit of air conditioning post-immigration, it's still hot. So I wouldn't plan on hanging out there all day. Although we say get there early, don't get there too early. When it's time to board, they'll announce it. There's a little bridge that you walk across, and you can either take the escalator down or you can take the steps down to where the train is actually waiting at the platform. Similar to airlines, there are boarding groups, but for some reason, and I've never understood it, when they announce it's time to board, everyone just mobs to the entrance of the boarding area. You literally have an assigned seat and you know exactly what time the train is going to leave. But if mobbing the area is your thing, go for it. Who am I to stop you? As a general rule of thumb, it's probably a good idea for you to have a quick look at your ticket to figure out which carriage you're on prior to going to the boarding area. Once you get down there, the trains are actually pretty long, so if you went the wrong way, it can be a bit of a hike to get to your actual carriage. Now to find your carriage, just look at the doors on each of them. It's lit up and it's clearly marked with which carriage number it is. Once you're on the train, just look up to find your seat number same way you would on an airplane and plop down in your seat once you got your stuff stowed. There are compartments for your larger stuff at the front and back of each carriage. There's overhead storage for anything that you want to put up there, and you can always tuck something under the seat in front of you. Now the seats themselves on this train are enormous. They're not particularly wide, but I'm telling you, NBA players could sit in these seats and not see the backs of the heads of the people in front of them. I guess the all-in effect is it contributes to a sense of privacy, which is nice. The tray table is similarly enormous. You're gonna have no problem putting your computer on it, putting a meal on it, or honestly, you could probably fit both. Next thing you know, you're pulling out of the station and you'll be on your way to cruise in the French countryside. And while you're riding, I actually think it's well worth it to look up from your iPad or phone, because the French countryside is beautiful. After a while, it'll get pitch dark and you're going through the tunnel. But after a few minutes, you'll pop out on the other side, and now you're in the English countryside. And not long after that, you'll be pulling into St. Pancras. But remember, you already did immigration in Paris. So when you get off in St. Pancras, you pretty much just walk off the train straight into London and get on with your day. See, taking the Eurostar is nothing to be intimidated by. Just a few tips and tricks, get there early, make sure you have enough time for immigration, and it's easy.